Good morning, pod managers, and welcome back to High Pine Zoo. Today we're going to be making an enclosure for the Gigantoraptor, and we're going to be doing it on the top of this hill point, and it's probably going to be the last enclosure that's going to be up here. I'm going to make it for 3 of them. Now the idea is to have it kind of like almost arched wise in a sense, and then have like hills behind it a little bit. So let's get into that. We're not going to make it truly massive, this enclosure, and I should probably have the right fencing on for the theme. I always forget that we have a very particular theme that we're going to be going for. So we'll have it straight like that, have it kind of curve with the path like this, and then I think from this little bit here, we'll have one kind of like in line with the path. So we kind of we curved it too much. So I have this here. This is going to be the off-show area for them. We have it like that. And curve it like this. And this is just like a little area that they can sort of chill in. Like, I do get a few comments asking, why do I make these little square boxes? Now, the idea behind an off-show area for a park is... there's a few reasons for it, really. So, one of the reasons is you've got keepers that want to clean inside of this enclosure. You do really want to be cleaning in a enclosure and sharing that enclosure with a dangerous animal. So you kind of just place them in here so that they are out of the way and the keepers can go nice and safely go and clean the enclosure. Now the other thing that you can do with this, it can be used as like a makeshift quarantine zone. If you have an animal ill or you need to keep an eye on them but don't want them in the eye of the public, you'd store them in this kind of area and they can go and get watched. Another reason for like the off-show area as well, if you're adding a new animal to the enclosure, so let's say you already have an established family or pack or whatever you want to call it inside of this enclosure, you don't really want to just throw a new animal in there. They might not get accepted straight away. They might be seen as a threat, and that could cause an animal injury, which is something you don't really want in your parks. Now, man, losing a bit there. But saying all this, it doesn't really matter too much because this is Jurassic World Evolution and it's not that complex of a game to what I'm talking about. But I like adding realism into my builds, and that just kind of adds like a bit of storytelling and an extra factor to the build and makes it more alive for me, essentially. And it's all things that you can do if you want to. You don't actually have to add it. I just, like I said, it's not a feature in the game. It just adds a little bit of extra storytelling. But that's the reason why I add those structures to my enclosures. So we'll add this bit here. This is going to be the viewing area. I'm kind of interested in, do I want to add another kind of gallery? May it be a log? Or may it be... ooh, I don't know. I might keep it as is. So I'm going to just increase a bit of a mount to the back. I'm going to keep my enclosure fairly flat. Probably add like a little bit of a mound there and here. Probably build this up here like so. Kind of mountainous a little bit here. Actually, was there a reason why there was a reason why I'm keeping that flat, but I can just do a path like that. It won't matter too much, so we'll just have a bit like almost like a valley. Now there's something I'm going to be doing here, but that'll be for a different video, or I might just make it off camera and then I'll just reveal the idea of what I'm going to do with this area, because it kind of goes back to an old childhood memory. So I probably will do that. Take the auto paint off this bit, and we're going to make the slope a little bit less, radius a bit, just add these odd hills. And I think with the hills, I think that's where I'm going to add the plants to it. In the offshore area, you're going to place the water down, So then they'll travel from Osho area to this part of the enclosure. And they'll just drag them back and forth a little bit. That make it, there we go, we can. It's a big puddle kind of blocking things off a little bit, but it don't matter too much. It's ground, no, it's ground leaf, ground leaf. So you provide ground leaf. With High Pine Zoo, we have been making a lot of our enclosures not very piney, I must admit. With the odd few kind of sticking in with that theme. So I think we're going to put a few pines and the odd redwood in here, I think. That'd be kind of nice, like a little break up. I think I'll do it fairly dense. I might do sand still around these bits, so it kind of looks like a dried up river in a sense, and it's the kind of the theming. So this is really green on top, and then this bit's really dried out. Maybe do an odd log in there with a bit of stone, like it's the bottom bit. And then because there's loads of sand, the Gigantoraptors have feathers. You can imagine this creature having a dust bath. Dust baths are really important for creatures. They get rid of like any parasites. It helps clean them, and it's just something for them to do. You know what I mean? Something that, again, doesn't happen in the game. You do sort of see it brush its head like this on the ground, so you could somewhat say it's kind of there. But obviously, they're not doing it for a sand bath for that reason. It's just part of the animation. But nevertheless, it's all about storytelling. It's what keeps the game alive for a lot of people. If you go in here and you just make a few enclosures here and there, some people are happy with that, but I feel like a lot of people, I got bored of the game really quickly, X, Y, and Z. I did everything, and I now kind of stuck what to do. If you add your own story, add your own challenges to the game, this game becomes a lot more than just a park simulator in a sense. It's really nice to fill out your days in a sense. And I think I've said in a sense too many times in a sense. Right, so I think that'll be for redwoods. I'm going to be adding... I'm on random rotation, aren't I? Yeah, we're on random rotation. Now the reason why I have plants like this on random rotation is because it really does help making it... I don't have to do it myself. I mean, you can just keep spinning the item as you go along, but if you have it on random rotation, it kind of helps stopping things looking the same, because obviously we only have a very minor selection of plants to use, and if you're playing on an old generation console and only have access to one theme at a time, then you have even less options open to you. So having a random rotation really does help make things look very different. If you do them on different heights as well, that also adds to the factor of making it looking somewhat different again. Now we're going to add a load of smalls. I really want these areas to be really bushy out, so they kind of almost disappear into it. But yeah, going back to the reason why the heights, so if I do like that, not all these trees look exactly the same because they're all at different heights, and they're also at different angles from one another. Something I'd love to see in the next game, Jurassic World Evolution 3, with the decorations, we can either change the plant's height ourselves, or it just randomly does it as you places it down, just to help make the trees look different from one another, and doesn't make them look completely the same. It'd be quite a nice feature in the game itself, because obviously, like I said, when you place these down and you keep it all ground level, you don't put random rotation on, you're just looking at a clone army of trees. All at the same growth stage, etc, etc. It's kind of nice to add things. So we've gone for quite a piney feel. Add the old dead pine here and there. I'm kind of contemplating, do I want any kind of temperate tree mixed into this, or is that going to be too much? But it'd be kind of nice, sort of have like a lot of ground leaf. It'd be kind of nice to have not just evergreen plants knocking, like the odd tree here and there. So if we go to temperate, probably use the dark colours. Oh, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. It doesn't look all that bad. Okay, yeah, we'll stick with this. Add a few temperate trees to it. but sticking with the darker ones rather than going with the really flamboyant bright trees, because it can that's definitely an eyesore. So yeah, we'll get rid of that, and we'll stick with our darker temperate trees. You're pretty dark, and I'll probably place that here to fill out that area. Okay, place that there. I'm pretty sure this is pretty bright, isn't it? Okay, no, it's not too bright, especially in the shadows of that tree. Here's the odd small one like this, just here and there. Because obviously with pine trees, they do take a lot of competition out of the area, with especially trees like this, especially with all those pine needles knocking about, covering the ground and whatnot. So try and make it so it's not overly, yeah, I don't like that, overly overtaken by these temperate trees, but nevertheless it's going to add a nice kind of bushy, thicker look to it for our Gigantoraptors to sort of fade in and fade out of. And it's probably more of, I don't think it's about making like tree vegetation islands surrounded by sand. What is that? What have we? Oh, is it just a contour line? I was so confused to like why it was a bright white square on the ground, but I go back into this. It's just going to be a contour line, isn't it? Yeah, it's just a little bit of contour. I was like so confused at what that was then. I've never seen that before, but I discovered something new after all this time. Like a little glitch, but no, it was just the contour line. Like a very tiny space for it. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, there we go. That's looking extra filled out. So let's place our sand down. So just try and make it look like that these are, like it's dried out. Like it's almost like a dried out river in a sense. And these are like a little islands that were in the middle of the lake or the river, whatever you want to kind of go for. I'd probably say lake. I mean, there's a few lakes not far from me where they have like islands in it. And you could only imagine what it'd look like if they decided to drain the lake and you could walk to these islands. It'd be really cool to see, to be honest. So that's the overall vibe for this enclosure. Can we do that over here? So I think that'd be our sand, and then inside this area I think I'm just going to place just a few bits of the tree brush down here and there, just so it's like a little bit of cover and whatnot. Food wise, we'll probably put our meat center here, so then they have like a direct line of sight to that. I did say I was going to probably add another viewing gallery, but I think I might leave it, because I mean technically that does cover a lot of it. Not that it really matters in Sandbox, and it kind of adds like a nice little hiding zone. And in theory, even though guests can't see from the paths, I'm pretty sure I was here, I could still see a Gigantoraptor through that. So, and we might make this into like a big sort of boulevard sort of thing maybe in the future, but for now we'll keep it, you know, somewhat plain, somewhat nice. Now for decoration wise, we said we'll add a few dead trees knocking about in here, because you know dead trees often end up at the bottom of water. You find logs, twigs, things like that. I'd love as well some more like choices of dead trees in Jurassic World Evolution 3 as like decorations. I think that'd be kind of nice. Now for rocks, I think this is dried out, but then you could say it's recently been drained. I mean, the alpine rocks do add like this nice, they have this like kind of like algae look to them, and there's a load of moss on them and things like that. So we'll add a load of small rocks just sort of here and there on the sand of these ones. Alpine like that, you know, a few rocks around the fallen tree. Just not, I'm not going to do too many, I'm not going to go crazy, because we already have a lot of rocks on this map as it is. So I'm not going absolutely nuts, but it's just something nice as well, as it kind of breaks out the plainness of the sand. You know, something sticking out there. We'll leave that as is. We're not going to do massively tall rocks, so maybe a bit more of a feature there. And then for the this area, we're going to use the temperate rock, the taiga rocks even. If we can fit any in, that's the question. Because we placed a lot of decorate. There we go. We'll just use the big ones here and there. I don't think I'll do tiny ones in here. I'll do these thicker ones. So they're seen, they're noticed. We know that they're there. Can I squeeze you in one way or another? Not going too far into the sand. There we go. Probably place that there like so. Maybe this rock here. There we go. Place the odd one of these knocking about, so it's just kind of nicely in there. And with all the trees, you'll just get like slight glances of the rocks that are in the middle. Just kind of like a slight view of it, which I feel like is a nice effect, especially when you're going for screenshots. If you're into taking just like Jurassic World Evolution screenshots, something I see a fair few accounts on Instagram where their whole Shazam is just screenshots, and they do some honestly beautiful like set work. I mean, some of them do use mods because like getting the perfect screenshot of a dinosaur that's constantly moving around isn't the easiest. Right. Yeah. So I won't do too many little ones, but we'll just do the odd one. The odd one. Try and not get stuck down. Like if you're not new to this channel, you know how much I love placing rocks, and I'll quietly sit here for half an hour just tapping my mouse, placing down all these rocks. Right, we're gonna leave the enclosure. I feel like it looks nice. Let's go and get our Gigantoraptors in there. So we're back now. We've got our Gigantoraptors in the enclosure, and I picked this skin for it because this is honestly, other than the blue and yellow, this is my second favourite skin for the Gigantoraptor. It kind of has this like glisten in the light, which kind of reminds me of pigeons almost, but it's just almost like jet black and shades of grey kind of colour. It's just a really cool one, and definitely something that'd hide quite well in the night. And we've got 3 of them in this enclosure, so what I want you guys to do now is put in the comments, what should we name these 3 Gigantoraptors, and we'll go name them, and next Friday we'll see who got the winning names for the 3 Gigantoraptors in this enclosure. But I really am happy with this enclosure. It turns out quite nice. I feel like the Gigantoraptors look really cool. I haven't seen one do like the dust bath animation yet, but I hope it happens in the sand, because that would be kind of like the perfect look for it. You see what I mean? Like, they kind of disappear into this, because somewhere in this enclosure there is 3 Gigantoraptors. You can just sort of make, like, they kind of just disappear in and out of this. But honestly, such a really cool creature that they added to the game. And this is my favourite, out of all the DLCs, this is my favourite DLC creature that was ever added. Like, it was just stunningly done. And Gigantoraptor is one of those creatures that you don't hear much about, and it doesn't have much spotlight, which is really a shame, because it's a really interesting creature, and the fossil evidence that we have from this creature is absolutely nuts. But anyways, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.